Welcome back to Open Line tonight. It's our Beyond the News night. Speaking with members of the NewsChannel 5 family, of Matthew Torres here and Seena Sleem, our newest member of the NewsChannel 5 staff. You've maybe seen her on the air, a few reports so far.
Yeah.
You're working 3 days during the week and the weekends, right?
Yes. And my first story aired last Wednesday, so hopefully you got to watch it. But yeah, very, very new, but still here, which is a good sign.
What she's saying is make sure to follow her on Facebook and Twitter.
Shameless plug, Seena Sleem. It's pretty easy, just my first and last name.
Very good. I asked you in the break, most memorable stories. Do you have some?
Well, I was going to say, in my very first market, I was in Eugene, Oregon, and there was a school shooting, and it was so tragic. Close to a dozen people ended up getting shot. The shooter shot himself, and of course, just being there in the chaos, we were the first ones on scene. It was a lot, and it's just so sad seeing, the parents, reuniting with their kids, wanting to make sure they're okay. But I think we were talking about it, the most tragic stories, sometimes you get the best stories in the sense of the community coming together. The town was called Roseburg, and for the longest time after that shooting, we hashtagged UCC Strong. We said Roseburg Strong because that town may be tiny, but their spirit was so big. And after all the big networks were gone, CNN, all of them left, we were the ones covering their stories. And the amount of people I've met through that experience, I'm forever indebted to them. They really taught me so much about life,
I think, like you said, the tragic stories. Some of the victims, I'm still in touch with. You still connect with. To me, one that kind of immediately comes to my mind is the Gatlinburg wildfires. It was November 2016.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Right after Thanksgiving, and I remember this vividly because of everything that happened. I just finished my shift that night, left at 6:30, got home, saw what was happening, and for me as a reporter, I want to cover this story. I reached out to our managers, and I didn't hear back from them, but by the time I put my head down by 10:30, I heard 10 minutes later, they're like, come in by midnight. You'll report for the morning news, which I used to work the morning shift, so get there in time for our 4 o'clock a.m. newscast
in Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg, so an hour ahead. And so from then on, as soon as I got to the station at midnight, we just worked. I worked from midnight up until, gosh.
It was probably a day or a half or a day and a half.
So midnight until I finished 8 p.m. that night. And then we had to wake up early again for 4 a.m. until 11. So the reason why that one, just because I was just so exhausted, so tired. So that was memorable, where you literally worked nonstop. And that was like truly, I've had really long days, winter days, but that one was really just incredibly long. But the fact is, we got to see fire, we got to see the damage up close, we got to speak to people who evacuated. And when you keep hearing their stories, and this one lady forever, I will never forget her soundbite when she spoke to me. She says, God gave us these mountains, we should be enjoying these mountains. I don't ever forget what she said, how she said it too. And then when you talk to people who lost their homes, but to me it was so memorable because finally I got home. The next morning I remember waking up and you smell the fire from your clothes, you smell the smoke, and in my head I was just like, wow, I have a bed, they don't.
They don't.
And that just really hit home for me. So that one was really tough. This year to me, the Joe Clyde Daniels case, because again, just the hours she put in, we went there every day I was there from Saturday up until Friday every single day, and then just the story developed so much, and to this day, you
get so invested in it.
You get so invested. People reach out to you. You're now in touch with family, with the law, attorneys, law enforcement. That case was just so big that you're just so entrenched. And I'm still covering stories.
And there's still so many questions, right? The little boy still hasn't been found.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, we're covering, by the way. We're covering the court hearing tomorrow, whether the change of venue.
Okay, let's go back to the lines real quick. Austin is on the line. Hi, Austin. What's your question tonight?
Yes, my question is, as a reporter, how do you decide, with breaking news and all of the wildness of the day, how do you decide what you are going to eat? And if so, do you eat any fruit? If so, what's your favorite fruit? Is it a kiwi, a kumquat, what?
I love this question.
Reporters don't get to eat those.
I know,
like crackers.
I forget sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the best.
But in all honesty, sometimes we don't eat.
No.
Yeah,
No,
I
you
forget. It's so bad.
Because the day is not like, oh, well, I can sit down for lunch every day at noon. It doesn't happen.
And we're in the car most of the time, and I'll bring something that I'm supposed to microwave, and there's no microwave, and I can't do it.
You can't afford to eat out every day.
Some people are very good with packing their lunches and having the snacks, all of that. But when something really breaks, you're out the door immediately, and the last thing you think about is, oh, I made my soup. Like, I need to bring my soup.
Yeah.
No, because you don't know how long that day will last in the first place. So sometimes you don't eat.
And you're just so busy, my mind doesn't go to food. You know, when you're just so consumed in a story, you're thinking about what happened, can I get any leads, you know, whatnot.
Which is not unfortunately a healthy approach, but
it's what happens.
You can't help it.
So
and then
much madness,
you're more worried about where you can go to the bathroom. That's actually what I'm more concerned about.
Especially because you did the morning shift.
Yes. So you're on the scene for usually 4 hours plus, and you're like, is there a bathroom close by somewhere?
Yeah. When I used to work mornings,
don't come with those.
My photographer and I, we used to say, all right, do we see a bathroom anywhere? If not, do we know where the closest bathroom is? Yeah. Because, again,
you got
those are the important questions of the day. Yeah.
The worst is when it's cold. When it's cold and you're really just like, you have to pay attention. Like the standoff, I remember it at the Tony Sudacom apartments earlier this year. We were literally out there, but we were waiting for him to be captured, and you don't want to miss that opportunity of getting new information.
Yes, I know. Coming from New England, I've covered lots of blizzards. I'm tiny. I'm just such a tiny human, so I'm about 5 feet tall. I probably shouldn't tell people that, but we would have blizzards when I'm talking about a couple of feet. Yeah. So I was pretty much buried in it, and just to walk through that and stand out there for hours, oof. Maybe those are some memorable moments I had too, but not for good
terrible.
reasons too.
To answer his question is, we'd love to eat if we can. If we bring the food, even better. Okay, the election. My friend bought me salad, thinking that I would have time to eat the salad. I got the salad in my head. This great salad, fresh ingredients at 3 p.m. Did not eat it until after the fact at 7 p.m. Thankfully, that salad was still crisp.
But of course, election night, we always have pizza. Every newsroom across the country has pizza on
I was choosing to be healthy for once that night.
Good for you.
Protein bars are helpful.
That's true.
Always having one in your pocket.
All right, we got to take another quick break. We're coming back in just a moment. Stay with us.